oh, people actually actively want me to do this for them already.
Wow. I'm amazed.
There's a guy in there. What's he doing? He must be serious about this.
Not everyone can do that.
And now everybody wants these crazy big 3D bubbles and pimples and worms and snakes and all this stuff all over their nails. I'm like, it's cute.
You know, there can be only two ways.
Little
You're either running away or you know you're going to grow. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Nail and Nail podcast. Today is a very, very special episode. We're going to be talking about the evolution of the nail industry, a career in the nail industry, and of course, breaking barriers as a male artist. And I am so pleased to have a very good friend of mine as my guest. Please welcome Dylan Pritchard, aka the Nail Whisperer.
It's about time, Anastasiia.
Yes.
It's about time.
I am so excited to finally have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
So let's say there are some people who have no clue who you are and they just tuned in. Would you please introduce yourself?
You want my elevator pitch. Okay. So, hi, my name is Dylan. You may know me as the Nail Whisperer on social media. I've been in the industry for about 15 years. I'm a Japanese gel specialist and a educator and representative of Cocoist USA. And I am originally from Toronto, and I've kind of been all over at this point, and I've landed in Chicago, and I'm so happy to be here with Anastasiia. Her and I have had a wonderful working relationship together over the past couple of years.
Yes,
and I'm
we do.
so happy to be here.
Likewise, friend. So, from Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It seems so far away, but it's a 1 hour flight. It's like 2 seconds away from here, I know.
That is true, yeah, from Chicago, you're right. Tell me, do you remember the moment in your life when you decided to become a nail artist?
Well, it was a few lifetimes ago, for sure. But I actually went to college for fashion design.
Oh, wow.
When I originally got out of high school, it was the most fabulous thing I could think to do, basically. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. That clearly didn't pan out, but I ended up trying out makeup artistry at the same time. And then I was just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I was doing my nails the entire time. I was painting. I remember there was a Sephora by OPI color called Metro Chic. It was this like really pretty purpley gray color. And I would always have that on my nails. And it was kind of like my gateway drug. It really got me addicted to nails, and I started painting nail art with it. And then it just kind of went downhill from there.
Oh my God, you were doing that. That was like a regular nail polish, right?
Yeah,
my God, you're the god. It's
well,
so hard.
I was a baby. I would definitely not look back at those photos anymore.
But it's so hard.
I didn't really know what a cuticle was at that point. But yeah, I started doing like little French tips and lines and stuff like that. And yeah, it was. I feel like every nail artist kind of starts that way. Just like, I feel like I could do that. I could do this myself. I'm sure you probably have a similar story.
Yeah, kind of. When I was maybe like 10 years old, I told my mom I wanted to do nails. And my mom bought me a couple of polishes. I did them. And I got over it so fast.
Really?
Totally forgot about that.
Well, you were 10. I mean.
That is true. Never had a dream of becoming a nail artist, though. It just happened.
Yeah, I didn't really look at it as a viable career until I realized it was like, oh, people actually actively want me to do this for them already. Mm-hmm. Why don't I try this out? And it really worked out.
You're a very creative person.
Thank you.
I mean, studying fashion, you have that creative touch.
Yeah, I mean,
you.
My mom's an artist too, so I always kind of knew I wanted to do something in the artistic field. But I'm very thankful that I'm able to be creative and also successful in the same breath. You know, I think that's a very difficult cross-section to master.
Absolutely. Yes. So many people who are very creative, but they are not successful at all.
No, I'm still trying to figure out the marketing thing. I do my best.
I know. Starting in the, I would say like probably 90% female industry, you as a man, did you had any struggles?
No struggles that I found overly evident. I was lucky that way. I think being a male has its own kind of predisposed privilege. Unfortunately, I will reluctantly accept this privilege, but it definitely set me apart because, you know, my first like decent nail salon that I worked at, it was just a row of 7 nail technicians, and I was the one guy in that row, and you could see every single nail tech from the window. So people would be like, "Oh, there's a guy in there. What's he doing? He must be serious about this." right? So it got me a lot of attention right off the bat. And that definitely gave me the opportunity to invite new clientele in very openly, very quickly. And it made me kind of improve my artwork that much more, that much faster. So in a way, it definitely set me apart, and it gave me some kind of heads up. There were always, there's always going to be people that aren't comfortable with men doing their beauty services, concerned that maybe we don't understand the beauty services in the way that they do, things like
Sorry,
this.
that's funny when people think like that.
I mean, it's silly, I know, but it's like, you think I never put a set of gel nails on myself? Come on, girl. Hello. But yeah, that I'm very fortunate to have never really experienced too much homophobia either, which is really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
But also, do you think, because for all the interactions that I have with you, you're always positive. I never heard you complaining about anything.
I know.
Like, I mean, social media definitely, but even in person conversation that we have, I've never heard you complain about anything. I never saw you in like a depressed mood, or maybe you just don't show that. But I have a feeling that you're a very positive person. And do you think maybe because of having positive energy going out there, the life was not that hard? Or maybe it was, but because your mood, your setup was to see the good around you. So if the difficulties were, they passed much easier than, for example, if you would be concentrated on the small problems.
I mean, I'm human. I call them my thundercloud days, where I'm just going to sit on the couch and feel bad for myself. And my poor dear husband has to put up with me. And he sometimes will just go, snap out of it. What are you doing? Like, what are you thinking? And he's like, it sucks in the moment, but he's right a lot of the time. But I try to have a lot of like positive energy kind of exuding from me, especially in public, in situations like this, when I'm doing clients. A lot of the time, like, people are coming in to enjoy a service. They don't really want to hear about why my day is so bad. If they need to get it off of their chest, then that's all well and good. This is their time. But I think in general, just putting positivity out there will always have it coming back to you tenfold.
I'm so believing in that. That is so true.
Yeah.
I always remember the times when I started as a nail tech, not speaking English. Hello.
That's tricky. Yeah, never had that
working
experience.
in a Spanish-speaking salon.
And I guess it probably worked in your favor. If you couldn't speak the language, you probably worked that much faster because you weren't sitting there chit-chatting all day.
That is true.
That's definitely my problem. I'm definitely my own worst enemy when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, now I do like to talk a lot.
It's fun.
Over the time, you build a relationship, you start feeling comfortable with the person, so you can start talking, even if some of the words I'm saying are not correctly, they will know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it's like a credit to your efforts that you can speak 2 languages. Most people in this country, a lot of people in this country cannot say that.
Yeah. I'm so happy I just found out you speak 2 languages too. High five on that.
Yes. Well, Canada, right? Bilingualism is pretty common there. But yeah, French is my second language. It's not perfect. I don't think I could speak nails in French. But I can like order a sandwich.
That's cool. I think that's enough. You're not going to starve.
It'll
if
help.
You're somewhere around.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Cool. So from Toronto, what was the next stop?
I had many stops. So Toronto, I lived in the city proper for about 10 years. That was the city that raised me, the city that kind of made me fall in love with nails and understand nails on a much different level. And then I fell in love. I moved to New York. And I worked at a pretty prestigious salon for a little while, and then I kind of jumped into a private studio with a friend of mine, where I kind of started learning about Japanese gel and structured gel and all these hand painting designs and products and stuff. After that, I followed the money down to Miami. My partner and I got this job offer that we just could not refuse. Went through COVID in Miami. And then after that, we followed familial obligation to Las Vegas to take care of my husband's aunt, who was very poorly at the time. So we were in Las Vegas for about 2 years, realized and decided that it was not the city for us. And we made the move up to Chicago because I had been here for a class at Banana Nails, actually, to teach. It was the spring prior, and I just fell in love with this city. And I haven't looked back.
Oh my God, I love Chicago too.
It's such a good city.
It's a huge city. It has so many different nationalities over here, so many different kinds of food you can try and places to go out.
And it's so much like Toronto. I feel like it's kind of like Toronto and New York, like mixed together, because it's got that kind of like small city feel, very neighborhoody. Everybody's so friendly. The Midwestern effect is very similar to the Canadian effect. But it's still robust. There's still so much culture, so much art, so much like stuff to do. I love this city. I never want to leave.
Ooh, finally here someone says they love this city too.
Listen, I've been a Rolling Stone for 15 years. I'm trying to gather some moss here. Okay, I'm trying to be comfortable.
With all this moving, have you ever, because you had to build your clientele from scratch every single time.
Over and over and over again. Yeah.
You weren't scary.
You know what? It's always a little scary when you choose to jump, right? Because you don't really know what's going to happen. New York was easy for me because I went into a high volume salon. And then, I was very quick and it was very simple for me to build a good clientele out of that high volume salon and move into a private space. Once I got into Miami, I very much had to rely on social media and word of mouth marketing and stuff like that. And I was very fortunate to meet some really great people. One of whom was the owner of a medical spa, and I got all of her employees, and then I started getting her clients as well. So thank you, Ro, if you are watching here. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
it was wonderful in that way. And this was kind of where I started building a little bit more of my social media presence, so that once I came to Las Vegas, it was really just hitting the pavement, going into the DMs. I literally was going into my DMs in Las Vegas, or going to like Las Vegas Arts District hashtag and finding people that looked like they lived there and DMing them and saying, hey, I'm a new nail tech. I'm in a private space here. If you'd like to get your nails done, let me know. So it's just self-advocacy. And
oh my God.
Yeah, it takes,
but that's so much work.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. Takes some patience for sure. There was definitely some months where it was, Mr. Noodles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but we figured it out. And I think we're better off for it.
Wow. I'm amazed because you worked so much.
Yeah, for sure.
And people think a lot of nail artists fresh out of the school, they inquiry to work at the salon and they tell me that, I want to make $50K a year. I want to have a lunch break in the middle of the day. And I also don't want to work Saturdays and Sundays. And I'm not going to do any pictures. I'm not going to take pictures. I'm just going to come, work, and go. And to me, it's like, it does not work like that.
No. So my experience in Toronto, my lifetime my 10 years in Toronto, I worked in, easily 7-8 different salons. I saw salons that were failing, salons that were thriving, salons that were overworking their employees, salons that were barren. I see salons open. I've seen salons close. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that you got to do the dirty work. Yeah. There's going to be a dirty work phase of your career. Working in a high volume salon, like I say with a lot of admiration, that the first real good salon that I worked at was in Toronto. It was called Polish Nail Bar. And it wasn't the nail bar that made it amazing. It was the people that I worked with and the people that I met there, because they were the ones that really taught me the science behind nails, the passion behind nails. They really ignited a lot of passion within me within this career, where, I love doing nails, I love doing nail art, but I didn't get it until I worked there. Before that, I had a couple, unfortunate situations where I was working in, we'll call them some non-standard salons, some very high volume. I remember the first day I walked into my first nail job. It was called Iconic Nail Spa in my hometown. Not so iconic. But I walked in, and this was, 15, 14 years ago. So shellac had just come out, brand new. They weren't even covering this in school yet. Gel was not a thing in school except for like hard gel builders. Yeah. I walked in on my first day and they said, do you do shellac? I said, no. And they go, you do now. And I said, okay.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So it was OPI Big Apple Red. Scared the living daylights out of me. Yeah. But it lasted 2 weeks. Yeah. So I'll take it. Small wins, right?
Absolutely.
But it's that dirty work, and it's that grime, and it's that 9-10 hour client days. It's working in different high volume salons, low volume salons, different kinds of owners, different kinds of employees. All of these experiences have led up to me being a really confident nail tech, and I wouldn't change any part of my experience for it.
I agree with you 100%. you have to go through that.
Call it an internship.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And like, I don't believe in success overnight. You have to build that.
Yeah, I mean, back at Chicago Nail Connect at the A+ Nail School, I went up and I was a speaker and I spoke.
Yeah.
My main topic was the value of salon experience, because I really do feel like a lot of people in this industry and a lot of people that are entering this industry are seeing the solo nail techs. They're seeing the booth renters. They're seeing the people that are working privately, and they say, I want that. And it's not to say that that's not attainable and that you couldn't be successful doing that right away, but I think you're robbing yourself of a lot of valuable expertise by, just completely skipping over to that section and hoping for the best.
Yeah. And, the 2019, 2018, be your own boss, so popular.
Yeah.
And everyone fell for it. But I always think that nail artists, they are artists first. There's a very little portion of nail techs who are business people, who have the business mindset, even though they do try to do very good business, but they're first artists. They want to be creative. They want to buy new polishes. They want to buy a cute chair. They want to buy a cute lamp and all this and that, but they don't track their expenses.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I made 10K this month, but how much you took home?
Yeah, but did you? Like, what's that going to look like in April next year?
Like, you took home $1,000 a month. Does it worth it to be your own boss but don't make any money?
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people, they just don't do the math behind it all, and they go for it because it looks pretty.
Right. Well, and it's about learning to be selective too, learning to add value where you can, instead of just having 17 different kinds of sheer pink.
Oh, yes.
You could have 3. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need, you can mix.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I really respect you for. The fact that you are so business minded and that you can look at this kind of empirically. You can look at data. You can say, this is why this is working. This is why this isn't working. And you're helping our industry for that. Like, I love that. I want to take a business class with you. I could use a few pointers. Don't get me wrong.
But you know that now I know all that because 3 years of failure.
Right.
Like, I went through crazy stuff. I feel like I saw so many bad things that I lived through that. So now I'm like, okay, we did that. That did not work. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But when I opened the salon, I never wanted a suite because I knew it's not going to be profitable.
Right.
Like, because what if I get sick? I have to pay for the space, for everything, but I'm not bringing any money. Or in my case, I was pregnant. So like, I go on maternity leave, I'm just going to pay rent for nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, it was straight away the salon. But also, when you went solo, was that because you saw the opportunity that you can grow financially and professionally? Or you were running away from something? Because, there can be only two ways. You're either running away or you're going to grow.
A little column A, little column B. Let's say that. So, okay. Because I've had so long in this career, because I've done 14 years of this, running around all this crazy stuff, I've gone solo a couple separate times. The first time I went solo was in Toronto, and it was right before I met, well, actually it was right as I met my husband, and he was living in New York at the time. But I had worked, like I said, so many salons, seen them open, close, seen good owners, bad owners, good employees, bad employees. And I said, I'm just going to try this for myself. And I just did a booth rental. It wasn't like my own private suite or anything. It was within this really cute little hair salon. And I had just like a cute little corner. And it was fantastic. I loved it. It was kind of like my first taste of freedom within the industry, where it was, I pick my products, I pick my clients, I pick my prices, I pick my hours, I pick my policies, everything. And it was so fun. I loved it so much. And I ended up giving it up for love. So I decided to move to New York. But I moved to New York with a job offer at a pretty reputable nail art salon there, which is where...
That's amazing.
Oh, it was great. It was, I think a lot of my experience to that, but in the same respect, it was showing me certain things that I just didn't want to see in a salon. So I will always thank that experience, because that's what introduced me to Japanese gel. That's what introduced me to really fine nail art. That's what introduced me to, respecting my time with my prices. And it really kind of got my foot in the door in New York, a city where it's very easy to fly under the radar.
Yeah.
So I think it was about 3 months, maybe 4, that I worked there. And it was a hard 4 months because I was taking 10, 11, sometimes 12 clients a day, 45-minute nail art appointments.
Oh my God.
It was insane. It for sure was. But, you kind of think of these things like boot camp a little bit. It was the same with that polished nail bar, that little salon that I worked at in Toronto. 9, 10, sometimes 11 clients in a day, but it was boot camp, man. It taught you hard. It was the hard way for sure. But I was able to gain a really, really great clientele and move into a private studio with a friend of mine and make it work from there. And I just really prefer that kind of laid back atmosphere. I don't love salon life sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's for some people, for sure. I think
it
a lot
also
of people,
depends on the salon.
Yeah, and I think people thrive on community as well. I think maybe that's sometimes something that I'm missing, which is why I love teaching classes too, because I get to be around nail techs again. But I love the private vibe. I like putting my playlist on.
Yeah.
Picking my colors, doing my hours. It's really great.
I know. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I like salon life for some people.
Absolutely.
Not so
Yeah.
much
And
for me
it also
anymore.
depends always on the salon. Because, at the some salons you can talk with your management and figure out things. And some salons, no one listens to you.
For sure.
And some salons don't care about you. Why would I stay there?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just about the bottom line, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Love my bottom line. Appreciate the bottom line. But, we have to be happy too.
With all this salons life and being your own boss, very busy, I'm assuming, and also moving all over the world.
Yeah,
kinda.
that takes up a lot of time.
How did you decide to become an educator?
So when I was in Miami, I was working in a private suite of somebody else's. I was just working with a friend of mine, and my partner at the time was a hairstylist, and we wanted to open up our own space. We had a hair salon that we opened in Brooklyn, and we wanted to do a satellite location in Miami, right downtown. So we found the space, we opened it up, and through my experiences working at those salons in New York, the spaces that I worked at in Miami, I saw a lot of different kinds of Japanese gel. I saw leaf gel, I saw Presto, I saw a bunch of different brands, but Cocoist kept popping up. Just kept, there's just one pot here and there in every salon I worked at. And I remember the first time I picked up a Cocoist color. It was called Softy Sky, E128. Never forget it. Beautiful kind of pale blue. And I remember painting with it, and it was like, oh, this is what's up. So I contacted Cocoist when we were working on opening our Miami location. And I said, listen, I'd really love to make this a Cocoist concept salon.
Wow.
So like, what can we do? How can we make this work? So I created the Cocoist concept salon, where pretty much all of the products I was using was Cocoist. There was some gel bottle thrown in there, like for the tinted builders, because I was falling in love with those at the time. And the Nail Thoughts builder line had not come out yet. But that was when I became an affiliate with the brand. So the affiliation was kind of like my first step in the door. And then I started kind of focusing a little bit more on content creation at the time. And that kind of snowballed into having a little bit more of a presence on Instagram and other platforms. And then it just kind of grew. And then when I moved to Las Vegas, met some unfortunate circumstances, was unable to work as much as I wanted to, was dealing with a lot of personal things, needed some form of income. And okay, I thought Cocoist really seems like a great team, great family, really cool brand. Like they really are super helpful and forthcoming and very open. I like these people. So I called them up and I said, hey, I would love to work a little bit more with you guys. I see that, your social media it's there, but it's not really super active. Maybe I could help you out with that. So I advocated for myself in that aspect and accepted a job as one of their social media managers.
Oh my God.
So once I did that, again, that kind of got my foot in the door, started creating more content for them. And at that time, unbeknownst to me, they were working on their educator program. So
amazing.
Starting to have my face on their social media more and using their products kind of exclusively. I mean, once the Nail Thoughts builders came out too, it was game over. it was kind of the obvious next step to move into education. So started working with them at trade shows, started working with them, taking the classes to become an educator, and it all has just been a dream from there.
That is so amazing.
Yeah. So again, as the advocating for myself, looking for opportunities,
knocking at all the doors,
knocking on all the doors that look appealing to you.
Yeah.
Too, right? Because not all money is good money. This is something I
that
will
is
say.
true. That is 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But oh my God, not everyone can do that. You know that, right?
It takes some balls. Maybe this is one of my advantages, being a male in a female-dominated industry.
Can be.
But yeah, it takes some guts for sure. You gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta have the confidence that it takes.
Absolutely. No, not everyone can. Oh my God, people are shy to apply for a job.
Yeah.
At a salon with being a licensed nail tech, and you were not shy to go and like, I need to work, so I'm gonna work. I love that.
I mean, it was scary at a time. I remember when I just got out of nail school and I was looking for my first job. I printed off my cute little Word document resume and I walked into a billion different places and I got a million different no's.
Yeah.
But, as I started to kind of find a voice for myself, improve my craft, and have a little bit of a better name for myself in each individual city, I couldn't tell you the last time I printed off a resume. I feel like my experience kind of speaks for itself at this point. But this is what it takes to become established. It takes some dirty work.
Yep. Have you ever dreamed of all that you have right now?
I don't know that I ever expected it to be what it is. Education wasn't really on my radar for a long time, but as soon as the opportunity was presented to me, it was like, oh, this sounds like the next step, because you can be a nail tech. You can be very successful sitting there doing nails all day. There's nobody stopping you from doing that, but bodies are temporary. I will say that much. I'm 34 and I'm already starting to feel it in my shoulders and my back and all this stuff. So, I love doing what I do. I'm never going to stop doing nails, but, having the opportunity to expand the range of my career, I think is going to be really helpful in the long run. So that's what I'm going for.
Absolutely. Yes. That is so cool. I love your story.
Thank you. It's a pretty fun story. It's hectic for sure.
Yep.
It's hectic, but yeah, it's been a fun ride.
You've been also published in the magazines.
A couple, yeah, for sure.
So, did you knock at the door, or they finally saw your accomplishments and they were like, we want this guy to be working with us?
So pretty much any magazine publication that I've received has been a result of networking. And a lot of that networking happens at trade shows, which, I started attending with Cocoist. So this was one of the opportunities when, I had moved New York, Miami, Las Vegas. They started approaching me about working in trade shows. And I said, absolutely, because I wanted a chance to travel, get out, see things, have some fun experiences. And this was when I started, going all over the country with them. They were really doing a trade show circuit that year. So I got to travel all different states, a bunch of really cool different cities. And at these trade shows, I met a lot of these people, a lot of whom work at these magazine publications. And then, just being present in their face and talking to them and having eyes on your social media is really how it kind of, I do feel like it kind of fell in my lap. That one, I was lucky.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What does it say? When luck is when preparedness meets opportunity.
Yes.
So I feel like I had a nice combination of both. And yeah, that was very cool. I'm very thankful for that.
That is amazing. Awesome. I love that. I'm just like so amazed over here with everything you say.
Thank you.
You are very known for your street style, nail art.
Yes.
But you've in the industry for over a decade. Do you remember any trends that you wish come back?
Every trend has come back.
Okay.
1,000 times. Let's be real. Magnetic gels have been around for 12 years. We just know how to manipulate them differently. Chrome came out in my third or fourth salon out of 7 or 8 in Toronto, and I moved out of Toronto in 2018. So, these trends come and go, these products come and go. 3D is obviously like a newer, really super booming trend. So things are evolving, don't get me wrong. Like products are improving and changing and, getting better. And we're learning how to manipulate them more. I don't know that there's any particular trend that I wish would come back. I kind of wish we could just get back to hand painting. That's like my forte, right? Like when I was kind of making my name for myself in Toronto, my whole deal, and this was before a structured gel manicure was a thing, right? You could do overlays, but it was like
a hard gel.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
barely leveling.
Yeah, no, there was nothing leveling about it. It was all hand filing, and it was cross your fingers. But I remember there was a product by Artistic Nail Design that came out, and it was called Correction Gel. It was the first semi-hard builder gel I had ever touched in my life. First builder gel in a bottle I had ever seen. It absolutely blew my mind. Completely changed my life. And I started doing my gel manicures, but then I started applying an overlay over my gel manicures. I was calling it resurfacing. I thought I was so cool. And I was one of the only techs in the city that really did that, but it was still something that I filed off every single time. It was a whole different thing. But my goal was always to do absolutely excellent hand painting, color blocking, perfect line work, angles on lock, shaping perfect, and that overlay to perfect those light lines.
Yeah.
I was all about the light lines. I wanted it to just look like glass, flawless. And now everybody wants these crazy big 3D bubbles and pimples and worms and snakes and all this stuff all over their nails. I'm like, it's cute, but
It's uneven.
I just spent 10 years figuring out how to make a perfect nail. And now you're telling me that you want, okay. All right. So I've dipped my toe in the 3D thing. It's all well and good. It's fun. It's cute. You can make it fun, but I don't know. I kind of miss a perfect, smooth, flawless nail.
Agree.
It's so like old school of me, isn't it? All the Gen Zers are like, who's this guy? Who's this guy?
No. That's funny.
Bring back the good old days with perfect smooth nails.
Yes, please.
They're still around, but yeah, no, that's always been my forte. It's just light lines, and perfect
To me, it
color
was
blocking.
funny when people were saying that, oh, airbrush is coming back. I'm like, it was many years ago.
Yeah, it was a thing for a really long time. And I know
Yeah.
Leela, shout out to Nail Jerks, was one of the people that kind of reintroduced airbrush into the nail industry. Like she started working with Apres and doing a bunch of different stuff with them, creating, or at least, bolstering their products. And I think she kind of single-handedly revived airbrush in this industry. I'm not a fan personally. I just don't know. It doesn't call to me. It doesn't call to me.
I tried many times.
Yeah.
I cannot work with that thing.
No kidding.
I can't.
I don't know. I'd rather work with a sponge. There's so many different things you can do.
So
with
many
it.
different techniques to do the ombres or transitions, whatever. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, airbrush is not my thing.
As long as you're careful, you can do whatever you want. But this aerating, diluted, unpolymerized gel really scares me. Don't love that. If you're working with proper products, I can absolutely see it as a very valid product or a very valid technique. But yeah, airbrush is tricky.
Yeah.
It's a very tricky
I
conversation.
also have to have protective equipment
Yeah.
for that thing.
Yeah, masks, like Runyer, dust collector, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
With you mentioned that you love not just sharing your knowledge, but like be in the classroom teaching people, connecting with them. Did you have any moments where someone asked a question and you were like, what? How do I answer that? I don't know. Or maybe I don't want to.
Obviously that has happened for sure. I've taught so many classes at this point that it's bound to happen at least once or twice. But that's when I go, you know what? I don't know. Let's Google it. Let's talk about this. Let's make this into a teachable moment, right? Like it's all about how you approach it. Because I think probably in my earlier classes, I would have just like fudged a little, non-answer or something, said something political about it. But it's always fun when your students surprise you like that. That's one of the reasons too. Like I work privately in a home studio doing clients, and especially because I don't take that many clients anymore because I'm more focused on social media, education, stuff like that. It doesn't make sense for me to be in a salon environment anymore. So being in these classes and having experiences and opening myself up to other nail technicians is special to me. I love it. I love having this kind of community atmosphere. Like it's wildly different to me. I don't know. My classes are special to me.
Yes. Did you had any funny moments during the classes?
Funny moments.
Or embarrassing?
One of my favorite memories is it was actually from the class that I taught here. When it was one of my students' birthdays.
Oh my God, yes.
Do you remember that? And we brought her a cake.
Day.
I run out like, Anastasiia, it's Riley's birthday. You have to go and get a cake for me right now.
No problem.
And we made it happen. And that was
she
like...
was so happy.
Yeah, she's such a cutie. I love you. Hi, Riley, if you're watching. She's really, really cool. She's come and taught... she's been to a few classes of mine. She's really great too. But again, it's these like special moments that I just love about like... working in class environments like that. Like I'll always keep my classes more intimate. I don't want to have a class full of like 30 people and have people leaving feeling like they didn't take anything in or they didn't have a connective experience. Like that's not my goal. Like, yes, I want to be profitable, but I also want people to feel empowered and
absolutely,
like they actually love being in these experiences because it's really how you grow.
Absolutely. And I love that too. When I take a class, I want to have at least 5 minutes talking with the educator about me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make them team up too, like making new friends. And I always have like little group chats with all of my classes. And some of them, I mean, we had one group chat that went on for a good year and a half.
Oh my
with
God.
One class group. It was really impressive. I know. I was like,
wow.
guys, yeah, they're like besties now. That was really cute.
Dang,
that's what
cool.
I love to see. That's what I love to see.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. The nail community is so small. Like it's growing every single day, but like, it's a pretty small community by beauty industry standards, right?
Yeah.
Even like the lash community is wild at this point. It's huge. They have their own expos, all this stuff where like you look at the nail industry and you look at the expos and the trade shows and stuff that are available to us, and they're typically linked to like skincare, hair,
skincare,
makeup, all this stuff. It's kind of like you have the nail corner and it really, I think it's begging for a redefinition in our industry. We really need to kind of reassess how we are opening the community up to itself, and I would love to see more of that. So
me too. Oh my God, me too. I'm so tired of everyone saying that, oh, nails, why would that be expensive? Why do nail techs have to make money? Like what, we're not people?
Like, oh, like I don't need to eat.
Exactly.
Do you know how much your top coat costs?
Hello. Yes, absolutely. And I'm so actually happy that we have Chicago Nail Connect.
Yeah.
That we also have America's Beauty Show here in Chicago, because even though maybe some people don't go to the events like that, but those who do go there, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah. I mean, walking into that Chicago Nail Connect event, I didn't really know what to expect because I've done, demonstration days at that school before and they're wonderful. The people there are so passionate and they really just want they want what's best for the students. That's what I really appreciate about that school. Yeah. So when I walked into Chicago Nail Connect, it was overwhelming how much love I felt in there. Everybody was so excited. It was like buzzing. It was packed to the rafters. They're going to need a bigger location next year. But it was fantastic.
It was amazing. Yeah.
And it really proves to me that there's a lot of power in this industry. A lot of like hope in this industry.
Yeah. We just need more people to help us organize stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, like you're helping organize this big competition.
Yes.
Yeah, humble brag. Come on.
I'm saying it like that because it's a lot of work and I had no clue it's going to be that much work.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I'm tired, but I'm also super extra excited that this is happening and I'm part of it.
It's going to be so cool because this is one sector that I really never touched was the competition sector. I've never done that.
Are you very competitive?
No. I'm for the love, girl. I'm trying to hang out. But I mean, I've thought about it sometimes, but there are certain kind of roadblocks in my way. The main one being that I am actually colorblind. And, I've seen these competitions happen at like nail pro shows where it's like, okay, 3, 2, 1, open the bag. You have to use everything in the bag and make something. You have 30 minutes. Be game over for me. Yeah. I wouldn't even step in that room because I could open the bag and look at these things and have no idea what I'm looking at.
Absolutely, yes.
For me, my art form and, my craft, my medium that I use involves studying. It involves understanding what I'm using, where I'm using it, color theory, where it's coming from, the formulation, how it changes. all of these things I need to know on an empirical level. Part of the reason I love Cocoa so much is because they are so definitive in their products. They have them organized by color, they have them organized by number, they have them named in names that actually correlate to the color itself. They have them organized on the website by color. All of these different things make this brand very, very accessible to me, on top of it being an amazing product. It's a factor that not really anybody has to look at in this industry.
No, it's very important for a lot of people too.
Yeah, that actually,
I'm a freak when it comes to being organized.
Yeah,
even though this room now looks like a mess, but
beautiful, don't worry.
Like my laptop, my documents, everything has to be super extra organized. So for me, the things like that, when you go shopping on the website and it's organized in a color order, I love it.
Yeah, people like hear that I'm colorblind. They go, "How do you do what you do? Like, how do you even do? I don't understand."
Yeah,
and it just takes a lot of studying. But I think also like colorblindness affects 1 in 4 men, and I think 10% of all women, something like that. It's a very, very small percentage of women that experience colorblindness. So this is something that is very alienating in the industry for me, because I don't have anybody that can kind of compare their experience to that. And I hid it for a really long time. I would fake it. I would,
real?
Oh yeah, 100%. I would kind of like talk my way. So if somebody like showed me a picture of a color they wanted, I would kind of like, talk my way into them telling me what color it was, instead of me like going, "Oh, I love that blue," when it's a purple. But now I'm just like, okay, if you want to show me a picture, you have to tell me what you're seeing, because if you tell me technically what this kind of color it is, I can understand that this is a cool undertoned magenta or something like that, and I can go to my stash and know that these are my colors that would correlate with that. And it's just it's more of a conversation, and it's definitely made my life a lot easier just being very forthcoming with that.
That's so amazing that you changed and you start asking and talking with people, be more open about that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people like you,
and
they want the support.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've made videos about it, and it's definitely, I've gotten some comments with some people that have a very similar experience. So that's nice to know that there's some solidarity there.
That you should. I'm so happy you shared that with the world, because you have a very big following, and I swear to God, there are some people in the world who are like, "Oh my God, I can relate."
Yeah,
maybe they can ask for advice. Finally, someone.
Right.
That's so cool.
I feel like it shows on my color selections a lot of the time, because I love contrast so much, because I'm like, oh, I can tell that is blue and that is yellow. That contrast is wild. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it shows up in my color selections.
But hey, that can be your style too.
It kind of is. Yeah. I love like high contrast neons with pastels and black and whites. It's fun. That's why I like that street style so much.
Yes.
Lots of color.
I love that too. It looks very cool.
Thank you.
And the fine lines, crisp.
Cocoist.
You are a genius. You mastered it all.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, to close up our beautiful conversation, what do you think? What do you see coming in the future, like for the industry and for yourself? Let's not talk forever. Let's talk next 3-5 years.
Next 3 to 5 years. I mean, for myself, I am working on creating more online educational content so that it's more accessible to the masses, because I think that these in-person experiences for the industry, the trade shows, the classes, all of these things, I think they're invaluable. I think they're very, very important for the industry. But I think accessibility and having things available online, especially for people that are far away in other countries, immunocompromised and concerned about going into spaces that are so crowded with people, having these options is really going to be kind of what I'm moving into personally. Not that I'm going to stop doing in-person classes. I definitely want to keep that going. But as far as the industry goes, I think we're in for a huge rebrand.
Okay.
I'm ready. I think the industry is ready. I think people are tired of being undervalued. And I think people are tired of, being, undervalued is the word, as a service provision. I mean, makeup, hair, lashes, all of these other services, skincare, all of this stuff, they're set at such a high price point. But because we've been working with, our history and how our industry began, we have a lot of unlearning to do.
Yes.
And I think we're at that point where people are really kind of getting it on both sides of the conversation. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too. I'm very excited for the future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for
It was
having
an
me.
amazing conversation.
Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself.
And hope you guys loved it too. Please share this video or audio with your friends. The more people hear and see and talk about nails and evolution of nails and changing our future, the faster the future is going to change. Bye.